Imagine a woman so ruthless that she dared to challenge God himself, a figure so cunning that she manipulated a king, persecuted prophets, and established a pagan cult in a land that was meant to be sacred. Her name? Jezebel. And her story is not just one of ambition and power, but of betrayal, idolatry, and an end so tragic that it was prophesied before it even happened. But how did this woman become the cruelest queen in the Bible? And why was her downfall so terrible that it became a warning for future generations? To understand the impact of this character, we must go back in time to the 9th century BC, when Israel was divided and spiritually weakened. Amidst this chaos, Jezebel entered the scene. Daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Sidonians, she not only married Ahab, king of Israel, but brought with her something even more dangerous than her beauty and intelligence: the worship of Baal. Israel, a nation meant to serve the true God, saw its altars replaced with pagan temples. The people who once heard God's voice on Mount Sinai now bowed their knees before an idol. And all of this was orchestrated by a single woman. But Jezebel was not satisfied with merely introducing idolatry. Her hatred for the Lord's prophets was relentless. According to the Bible, she ordered the execution of all the prophets of the God of Israel, hunting them down one by one until only a small remnant managed to hide. But one man dared to confront her: Elijah. And this confrontation would change everything. Imagine the scene. On Mount Carmel, Elijah challenges the prophets of Baal to prove that their God is real. The challenge is simple: whoever sends fire from heaven will be the true God. The 450 prophets of Baal cried out, shouted, cut themselves, and nothing happened. Then Elijah prayed, and immediately fire came down from heaven, consuming the altar. The people of Israel finally saw who the true God was. But Jezebel, she did not back down. Upon learning of her prophet's humiliation, she swore to kill Elijah. The prophet had to flee to save his life, but Jezebel's fate was already sealed. Jezebel was not only cruel, but also cunning. When her husband coveted Naboth's vineyard and he refused to sell it, Jezebel devised a deadly plan. She falsely accused Naboth, had him killed, and gave the property to the king, a brutal act of injustice, but one that would not go unnoticed in God's eyes. Then came the prophecy. Elijah declared that Jezebel would meet an end as humiliating as her crimes. And years later, this prophecy was fulfilled in a horrifying manner. After Ahab's death, a new king, Jehu, was anointed by God to wipe out Ahab's house. When he arrived in the city of Jezreel, Jezebel, still full of pride, dressed up, painted her eyes, and waited at the palace window. But Jehu was not fooled by her appearance. He ordered his servants to throw her out of the window. Jezebel fell, her blood splattered on the walls, and as Elijah had prophesied, dogs devoured her body, leaving only her skull, hands, and feet. Jezebel's story is a powerful warning. A woman who defied God, manipulated a king, and persecuted the righteous, but ultimately met an inevitable fate. Her life teaches us that no ambition, no matter how great, can stand against divine justice. Jezebel believed she could do whatever she wanted, but her arrogance was her downfall. As Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." And what about you? Have you seen the spirit of Jezebel at work today? People who use manipulation, deceit, and power to achieve their own desires, regardless of the consequences. Her story may have ended, but her dark legacy still haunts those who choose to follow the same path. If this story resonated with you, share it so more people can know that, in the end, God's justice always prevails.